So whatever happened to Peter McCain? Why has he been so mysteriously reintroduced into the zombie storyline right when Der Eisendrache came out, and then we see him again in Gerard Crovey in Revelations, but for no real particular or significant reason? Why did they just kind of throw him in there without any sort of explanation? That's going to be the question that we're going to try to answer today. Now, a lot of people that are new to the zombie storyline, who maybe just jumped in on Black Ops 3, are probably a little bit confused as to who Peter McCain is, why he's kind of important to the zombie storyline. New players might know who Peter McCain is, but they might not know how far he was back into the storyline and where he came from. So we're going to go over a brief history real quick to get everybody up to speed on the original history of Peter McCain, because the one in Black Ops 3 is a little bit different and it's kind of a little bit changed with this 2.0 universe. So we're going to talk about the original history of Peter McCain and how it kind of relates into this Black Ops 3 zombie storyline. Before we get started, if you guys do enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. We're going to go for 105 likes on this video, of course. I really would appreciate it. We'll see if we can hit that, and hopefully you feel like your like was well deserved by the end of this video. So I would like to start off by introducing you guys the original history of Peter McCain, how we knew him since the beginning of World at War, and how his storyline of his character kind of progressed from then on. So basically, Peter McCain was a former OSS operative. I mean, he was an OSS operative, and he was working under the handler known as Cornelius Purnell. This was his leader who you report all of his discoveries to. Now, still as an OSS operative, he snuck into Group 935 as one of their workers, right? He became basically a worker for them, but thus he was reporting all of his discoveries of 935 to the OSS and Cornelius Purnell as well. We know from radio clips that Peter started out at the Duries facility, where he kind of began his spying and his studies, and then eventually was moved to the Verrucht facility, and this is where he started to have his identity compromised. Somebody found out that he was a spy, and then Cornelius Purnell feared that his identity had been compromised and sent in a spy team or a rescue marine team to go in order to capture Peter and kind of rescue him for the OSS. But then they sent in a group of 4 Marines led under the commander Tank Dempsey, but when they actually got to the Verrucht facility, Peter McCain had already escaped, or he either escaped on his own terms, or Group 935 or all the workers there had taken him out because they realized that he had been a spy, so they wanted to get him out of this place as soon as possible. That's definitely a possibility, or either that or he escaped on his own. We really don't know. We just know that he was not at the facility as soon as the team of Marines got there. Shortly after that, he went to go spy in Japan on the Division 9 facility, and basically we know the rest of the story from here is that his parachute got caught on one of the things on, this is where we see the hangman as Shinonuma, and he is missing a left arm. And this is all we knew about Peter McCain for a long time, and we didn't hear about him at all in Black Ops 2. There was 0 references in Black Ops 2 to Peter McCain, and we pretty much assumed from then on that he was going to become irrelevant to the storyline. It was no longer important, but then it wasn't until Der Eisendrache when we actually got a cipher from him. And in this letter that we got from Peter, we find that he was indeed spying on Group 935, and he finds that they were working on some very, very interesting things. The first thing that he mentions specifically is the Ray Gun Mark III. He talks about the Wonder Weapon Test 3, and this being kind of the foreshadowing to the Wonder Weapon that we would get in Gerard Crovey, which is of course the Ray Gun Mark III. He already has seen that before we even got our eyes on it as well. And then he also mentions that they had a localized Borealis. This Borealis thing is going to become extremely relevant in just a second, and we're going to get to back to that topic in just a minute here. But once we had like this reference in Der Eisendrache, this got the whole community back excited again, thinking that Peter McCain was going to become relevant to the storyline again, and that he's very, very important. We were very, very excited to hear from what else he has to say, and all these other, maybe he's going to be actually in the map itself where we can see Peter McCain, but that didn't seem to be the case, as in Zetsubo, we had literally 0 mentions of Peter McCain, so that kind of sucked. We didn't have any references to him at all, but then in Gerard Crovey, we see him and he's in the opening cutscene. We see the sky open up in this Borealis, and all of our 4 characters, including Peter McCain, follow this, along with a bunch of other objects. And then we see Dempsey actually recognize that this is Peter McCain and goes for his parachute. But the thing is, once we saw this with Peter McCain, we thought that he was going to be very, very important to the storyline in Gerard Crovey, but they literally only use him as a parachute, or so it seems. At this point, Peter McCain became a very complex character, because we didn't really know if Treyarch was wanting us to think that this character is important to the story, or we only literally use him as a parachute to land safely in Stalingrad. It was all very confusing, and we didn't think we were going to see him again after Gerard, when he didn't make any sort of appearance during the Easter egg or after the Easter egg or whatever. And then in Revelations, when we got this original special trailer at COD XP during the Treyarch Zombies interview, Peter McCain actually made an appearance in this, but only for 1 shot, and we see him in the Verrucht section, which is very, very interesting. But as you guys know, he's not in the map, which is really, really concerning, because we don't know why. And it is hard to say why they didn't actually throw him in the map, or explain why exactly they even felt the need to throw him in there at all if he was going to become so irrelevant, only used as a parachute. So I have a couple of theories about why he was actually thrown in there, and what happened between Der Eisendrache and Gerard Crovey when we didn't hear from him in that Zetsubo period. Now, it is hard to say, but the last time we heard from Peter McCain was of course that letter, and we know that he was spying on 935 when he found the localized Borealis. So it is likely that our 4 characters found him while this Borealis was active, and then they went through this Borealis to go to Stalingrad, or to go to Karad Krovi in a different universe. Now, this is very complex because we don't know where the Borealis started. It would be safe to assume that this would be in some sort of Group 935 testing laboratory, but we don't really know exactly where. It definitely could have been in Zetsubou. Peter McCain could have been in Zetsubou for sure, and the Borealis could have been there, but it's definitely not in game, but we just found it there. But yet another question that comes with this that is really hard to answer is, why is Peter McCain dead in the Garad Krovi one? It looks like he appears to be dead, either that or he's just unconscious, but he's definitely not aware of what's going on. We use him as a parachute, we kind of just leave him on the ground in Garad Krovi, but then we see in Revelations, at least for one point, that he's actually alive and in the map. Originally, I had the thought that maybe Richtofen was going to go back and save Peter McCain's 1.0 soul, but the only problem with that is, if he went back to Shinonuma to get it, Peter McCain has been dead for too long to actually reserve the soul, and you guys know that Richtofen makes a very serious point about you can only collect the soul in the summon key just after the moment of death, and Peter McCain has been dead for maybe an unknown amount of time, and it'd be way too late to save his soul. And this is where it gets a little messy, because we'd have to go back to the exact moment in time right when Peter dies over on that pole to reserve his soul, and we don't know if that actually happened or Richtofen even tried to do that, but we just know that either the Peter McCain 2.0 was probably just kind of thrown into this universe, was spying on 935, fell through the Borealis, and then is somehow for one shot in Revelation. So this is where kind of things get a little bit interesting, but what I want to know from you guys is, why do you think he was thrown in there so weirdly, and what do you think his purpose is? If this is Peter 2.0, what do you think his purpose is in the storyline, and why do you think is important? So anyway guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys did enjoy this, don't forget to slap that like button on this video. I really would help out a ton. And also don't forget to subscribe if you guys did enjoy these kinds of videos. Anyway, thank you all for watching again, and I will catch you guys on the next one, and I'll see you soon.